Here's a side-by-side comparison of the new Wagner Intercooler and the stock 996 turbo intercooler. The stock one's on the right, the Wagner unit on the left. You can see the Wagner unit here has cast end caps that are welded on to the main unit. You can see it's also thicker in the body. The stock unit has this raised lip around the edge, which makes them appear to be about the same thickness, but they're really not. So the stock one's much thinner, and the end caps are merely plastic that's crimped on, you know, so the seal could be lost or the caps could blow off, and they're just plastic end caps. You can see a lot of airflow restriction in this end cap. Here it's kind of neck down. There's not a lot of volume within the end cap itself compared to the Wagner unit, where there's a lot of cross-sectional area here for air to flow through and distribute through this end cap manifold before traveling down the bars down the middle of the unit to cool the air. So this extra thickness here is what requires you to cut the plastic ducts that the stock unit attaches to. Those plastic ducts go on these raised rails on each side. So the lip is the height of those raised ribs on each side, and that's why you have to cut that off the stock unit, which is what we did on this one. You can see along the edge here, this has been cut. Doesn't have to be super neat, but if you look at the stock one, you'll see there's a lip there all the way around and a seal. So the seal's been discarded, won't be needing that. The lip's been taken off. This will fit on there just like it did on the stock one, except now it's the same overall thickness and it'll fit in the vehicle. So I'm going to go ahead and assemble that into the frame now, and I'll show you the result. I'm fitting the frame on the right side intercooler. I wanted to show you these Wagner units, for whatever reason, the spacing between the holes for the mounting bushings on each side are a little closer together than what they are in the stock units. So it's really only one part of this frame that's adjustable, and that's this tab here that you can bend. So just reformed it by bending it inward this way and then flattening it back out, essentially moving it the hole over that way. So this outside hole here will stay put, this one will come over. That'll allow these to line up enough to get the rubber bushings over these posts. So I have to insert the rubber bushings in the C-clips and push it all together. But I think the holes are close enough now for things to bend and give and get it together, and then we'll put the air ducts on it. Right, got this bracket bent to get the bushing in there. All these rubber bushings are soaked in Armor All for a few hours to restore them to being fairly soft. So you get all these washers and C-clips back on. If you need to, you can stick a washer underneath these lugs at this end. It makes it a little easier to get back together, especially since you have to reform this bracket here to assemble things. But we got the frame all cleaned up, and Ready to place the ducts on it now. So lower duct will go on next. So this part will fit in here. If I remember, I had to do some additional trimming on this on the other side. So you can see right here it's going to interfere. So I have to cut this lip back here, so I'll mark that and cut it to get it to fit. Okay, this is fully assembled now. The last adjustment I had to make was to get this seal on. So I had to cut away this unused ear. Took off about a 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 inch of the height of that, just so the plastic duct could move in and allow the seal lip to run continuously around this corner here and be flat. So that was one adjustment I made, and I did on both sides of the vehicle. There might be another way to avoid having to do that, but that seemed to be the quickest approach. So there's the finished part. The other thing I did was applied some adhesive up here to the foam seal on top. You'll want to make sure that's bonded down in place. And I should lift a little bit, put a little more adhesive on that. But you want that to stay in place until you get into the vehicle. Then there'll be compression on it, but it'll push out of place otherwise. Assembling it, so you got to stick that back down and be ready to put in the car. I have the right side intercooler assembly here. It's going to lift into the space here behind the right rear tire. 4 mounting points, 2 up there and 1 under here. So lift that up and put it in place now, and then it'll look like the left side one when it's up and mounted. Okay, I've got started attaching some of the big new hoses. Got this guy in place, got the spring lock in place.